Gentrification. It's a term that stirs up mixed emotions. Some see it as urban revitalization, while others view it as a force of displacement. But why do cities keep changing, and who benefits from this transformation? Let's dive into two iconic case studies, Brooklyn, New York, and 19th century Paris. In the last 2 decades, Brooklyn has become a prime example of gentrification in action. Neighborhoods like Williamsburg and Bushwick have transformed from industrial areas to trendy hotspots. Once a gritty, working-class borough, Brooklyn saw an influx of young professionals, artists, and tech-savvy entrepreneurs in the early 2000s. But this shift came at a price. From 2000 to 2020, property values in Williamsburg skyrocketed by nearly 200%, pushing out long-time residents who could no longer afford the rising rents. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment jumped from $1,100 in 2010 to over $3,000 in 2023. This trend isn't limited to Williamsburg. The entire borough saw property values increase by 65% between 2010 and 2020. Brooklyn's transformation also changed its demographic makeup. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the white population in Williamsburg increased by 44% between 2000 and 2010, while the Latino population decreased by 27% in the same period. The cultural diversity that once defined these neighborhoods is slowly fading, replaced by upscale cafes, art galleries, and high-end boutiques. However, it's not all bad news. The influx of wealthier residents has revitalized local businesses, leading to new job opportunities. The New York City Economic Development Corporation reported that Brooklyn added over 90,000 jobs between 2010 and 2019, mainly in tech, healthcare, and hospitality. But critics argue that these jobs don't always benefit the original residents, many of whom are priced out before they can reap the rewards. While gentrification might seem like a modern phenomenon, it actually dates back to the 19th century with one of the most ambitious urban renewal projects in history, Haussmannization in Paris. In the 1850s, under the direction of Baron Georges Eugene Haussmann, the French government undertook a massive project to modernize Paris. The narrow medieval streets were replaced with wide boulevards, parks, and grand buildings. Haussmann's renovation wasn't just about aesthetics. It was a deliberate move to make Paris more navigable and healthier, reducing the spread of diseases like cholera. Over 12,000 buildings were demolished, and 80 miles of new roads were constructed. This gave birth to the iconic Paris we know today, with its grand avenues and uniform architectural style. But this transformation came at a significant social cost. Haussmann's project displaced nearly 350,000 residents, primarily the working-class poor. Many were forced to move to the outskirts of the city, giving rise to the suburbs or banlieues. This form of displacement created a clear divide between the affluent city center and the poorer periphery, a pattern that still exists today. While Haussmannization is often celebrated for turning Paris into the city of light, it also sparked criticism. The project faced backlash for prioritizing aesthetics and infrastructure over the needs of the existing residents. Many historians argue that Haussmannization was an early form of gentrification, where modernization served the wealthy at the expense of the poor. Gentrification isn't inherently good or bad, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can breathe new life into decaying neighborhoods, increase property values, and attract investment. On the other hand, it often results in the displacement of long-time residents, erases cultural heritage, and creates social divides. For example, in cities like San Francisco, the tech boom led to a surge in gentrification, particularly in areas like the Mission District. From 2011 to 2021, median home prices in San Francisco rose by over 80%, forcing many low-income residents to leave. Meanwhile, in Berlin, where rent controls are stricter, gentrification has been slower but not entirely avoidable. The city introduced a rent cap in 2020, which temporarily froze rent prices for 5 years, although it was later overturned. So, why do cities keep changing? The answer lies in the constant push and pull between growth and preservation. Gentrification is a byproduct of cities evolving to meet the demands of a new generation. But as we've seen, this transformation comes with a cost. The challenge for urban planners is to find a balance that revitalizes neighborhoods without displacing the people who call them home.